Now, police forces across the country have caused controversy after it was revealed that victims of rape are being asked to hand over their mobile phones or face their case being dropped. Now, campaigners have described this as a digital strip search, and it comes after a number of rape and serious sexual assault cases collapsed after crucial evidence from phones was eventually revealed. So I suppose the worry is with this one, Janet, that you can see where some of these cases have been overturned because of things they found on a phone subsequently. But if everyone's asked to hand over their phone, the concern by many campaigners is this going to stop people coming forward who are victims of rape?
Yeah, and I think it's a really, really difficult issue. And I was asked to write about this for one of the newspapers yesterday, and I prevaricated. I didn't want to write it straight away because I wanted to think about it, because my first reaction, I think a lot of women would think immediately, this is gross, this is such an intrusion into our privacy. It's almost like presuming we've got a past and that what we might have said, 10 years ago or 5 years ago on our phones means we've got a certain kind of character. And, of course, we have seen in some murder cases, if the victim was a single woman of a certain age, the police and quite a lot of people rush forward to say, oh, she had an active sex life. That was like, as if the victim is almost asking for it. On the other hand, these cases that have where the trials have collapsed or the people have walked free because the phone records show a very different story, cost us a great deal of money. So what I was thinking, I'm still kind of thinking it through in my mind, is that if when someone accuses someone of rape, both the victim and the alleged perpetrator's phones were taken from them straight away, not harvested for information, but taken straight away.
But they might not have the perpetrator at that point. I mean, the person.
Yes, but if someone's accused, I mean, just assuming the police decide to charge someone or arrest someone, at that point, I'd like to see both sides' phones taken from them.
I really agree with that.
And then I'd like to see a court, three people sitting in that court, decide, are there grounds to harvest the information on these phones? I don't want it to just be in the hands of the police.
It was very interesting when we had this conversation because, in our meetings in the morning, we're all very opinionated women, as you know, and we normally instantly have an opinion, don't we? And a bit like you yesterday, my first thought was like, what? This is like going back to the days where we're saying, well, she had a short skirt on, so,
That's
she was
right, she asked for it.
Or they're going to find a picture. And the thing is, with we were talking about earlier about apps on the phones and things, people use their phones now and they do send, naked pictures to boyfriends and things, and all that shouldn't matter.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Even if they'd had a flirty...
So is that what they're looking for when they take your phone?
Well, so my immediate reaction was like, well, what are they looking for? And why is that relevant? It shouldn't be relevant at all. However, I then remembered the case of, I had to look his name up, Liam Allen, who was only 22, and he was charged with 12 counts of rape and sexual assault. I mean, a really serious allegation, but that was dropped after 3 days because the alleged victim... Afterwards, they looked at her phone and they found a lot of messages where she had been asking him to have sex with her. There were also messages where she was discussing him with friends and saying how much she loved him and what a lovely time she had with him. And I thought of my son. I remember we discussed that case on this show at the time. And having a 17-year-old, a young man, I would think, well, I would want that phone to be checked because that would prove my son's innocence, and it did. And
the tragedy of the case you're mentioning is that boy, even though he's been cleared of 12 accusations, his life is tainted anyway because he's had so much publicity. And it's obviously, we have to say that for a woman to be raped is the biggest violation, is the worst thing that can happen to a woman. But I do also feel it'd be very threatening if you go into a police station to report whatever it is, and they say, well, by the way, unless you give me your phone, we may not even take your case. Now, I think that would be threatening.
Yeah.
And like all of us, we still have the jury's out on this, but I picked up a phrase, somebody commented today and said that justice and truth depends on evidence. So in a digital age, it's bound to come around that we will use digital technology to actually check. And I have to say also that if I had a rape case and if I had stuff on my phone and I could prove my case, I would willingly make the police take my phone. So you can see it from both sides, really.
I suppose the police, you know, they have to use everything they have to
Well, exactly, and you've
get
just
a conviction
said
or not.
You've just said before how everything is moving on in this technical world. So that's just another proof.
The thing is moving because people are using their phones.
Absolutely.
But
They share their life on it.
Your daughter put stuff on her phone that you would never put. I think that the fact that these digital consent forms are out there and that the police want to use them should be a wake-up call for all people using their phones for this kind of material that could be misinterpreted, if you like. Once you're using a mobile phone to post images and information about yourself that's extremely of a sexual nature or an extremely private nature, don't be deluded into thinking that that information is in a private domain, because it's not.
Or could even the other side of that argument is that it could be seen as a deterrent. So this woman who accused this man of raping her, maybe if she thought, actually, they'll take my phone if I do that, might have been a deterrent because she was lying for her to do that to accuse him of that in the first place. So each side of that
It'll be
argument...
interesting to see how this all develops, really, won't it?
Yes, I mean, I still think we're not sure about it, are we, how we feel.